Have you ever accidentally caught someone naked? If so, what's the story? I was doing a Zoom meeting with a coworker and his wife walked by in the background fully naked, twice. I don't think she realized her husband's camera was on or that she was in view. Are you by any chance a Brazilian and were in the news? r/suspiciously specific, Reddit link. It's in reference to this, I think. Web link. Crap, I could not watch that more than 10 seconds. Why can't people just commentate their videos themselves? It's a view subscriber farm. Automated videos and everything so they can sell the channel. Imagine seeing your own wife in your coworker's background. Twice. Please don't scare me. Working in hotels, you see a lot of people naked. From your perspective, it's accidental. From theirs, they'll often do it deliberately. Most of them tend to be standard woman orders room service, is naked when you go to deliver it as a fun prank one, or customer wakes up to go to the bathroom in the early hours of the morning, is too sleepy or too drunk to realize that they used the wrong door and are now in the hallway rather than the bathroom, goes to front desk to get someone to let them back into their room type stories, and on one occasion I had the hotel's general manager that managed to lock himself out of the room whilst naked. Occasionally you'll be doing your hourly patrol and just happen across naked people walking to / from each other's rooms, or sleepwalking, but the oddest one I ever had personally was, my coworker and I were sitting down in the lounge, watching TV and having a snack. I heard what sounded like the hotel's internal fire doors closing. Note, the fire doors in hotels in the UK are all automatic closing. During the day we use electromagnetic locks to hold them open, but at night for fire safety the locks get released and they all stay closed. I thought maybe it was a customer coming to the front desk. From where I was sitting, the view of the front desk was blocked by a wall, likewise any customer approaching the front desk couldn't see me. So I got up and took the 3 steps to see the front desk. No one there. Odd, I thought, and went back to my snack. My coworker, who was sitting a bit further into the lounge, hadn't heard the door at all and thought I had imagined it. About 30 minutes later, I heard them again. Got up faster this time, and when I got a sight line I saw the door closing and through the doorway I saw a naked woman jogging away. I told my coworker this, he didn't believe me. So I went back out of line of sight from the doors and waited. About 30 minutes later, heard the doors, and this time stepped out instantly. Yup, naked woman. Jogging around the hotel. Doing laps. As soon as she saw me, she let out a sound I can only describe as a squeak, turned around, and ran back down the hallway. Never saw her again after that. Why was she jogging around the hotel repeatedly in the early hours of the morning? Why was she naked? These are questions I'll never have the answers to. Over 15 years later and it's still incredibly puzzling. It's not the strangest thing that I ever saw working in hotels, but it is the strangest thing involving a naked stranger. 1. For some reason, it was never the men who would be naked when receiving room service. I suspect if I were female though, I'd have seen a lot more naked men and a lot fewer naked women when delivering food/drinks. That comment was insanely long, so posting this separately, but I do have a sadder story about a naked woman, and it's the only naked stranger story I have that isn't hotel related. A couple years ago, I was living in a small apartment block. 2 stories. 3 apartments on the ground floor, 3 on the first floor. This was a rough area according to the locals, although it was the nicest, lowest crime area I'd ever lived. Growing up used to the sound on constant emergency sirens, shouting drunks, and screaming junkies, and the like, so I paid no mind to the very occasional bit of noise I'd hear. Directly opposite me lived a couple people, by their ages I'd assume mother in her 60s and son in his 40s. They were 1-bedroom apartments, but I think they were using the living room as a second bedroom. Both very obvious alcoholics but perfectly fine neighbors other than that. Then they started arguing. I don't know over what, but they'd have arguments in their apartment, they'd argue in the hallway, they'd argue outside. I didn't pay any attention, but it was obvious they were having a long-term dispute. But drunk people argue, no big deal, and usually a bad idea to get involved. One night they were loud enough that I could clearly hear him saying "you don't live here anymore" and various things to that effect. It being none of my business, I continued to ignore it. A couple hours later, now in the early hours of the morning, I heard knocking on their door and someone crying. I had to go and have a look, just in case someone was actually hurt. There was the old woman, completely naked, sitting in front of the door and crying. I did contact the police, informing them of the situation and explaining that given her age, her alcoholism, the fact that it was winter and getting really effing cold out in the hallway, she clearly needed help from social services or similar. A couple officers did come eventually. A couple weeks later, she was back living in the apartment with the man. Although after that, they did have a professional cleaning service in once a week, and I did have someone that positively reeked of social worker knock my door to ask some question about them, so it did appear that they got some help. I work as a handyman. I went to a house to install smoke detectors in bedrooms. I arrive and a woman lets me in and I tell her that I will be entering all of the bedrooms and I ask her if anyone else is home. She says no. The first bedroom that I enter has a naked dude asleep on his bed. On my way out, I inquire from the woman why she told me no one else was home. She apparently forgot about the sleeping naked dude. Edit. Wow, this blew up. Thank you everyone for the awards. Especially the wholesome awards, because the reality is this event was pretty wholesome. Nobody can forget about the naked sleeping dude. No, you're confusing sleeping naked dude with naked sleeping dude. Two totally different dudes. I was backpacking and I came across another hiker who had just been skinny dipping and was sitting on the ground naked to dry off. I stopped to chat for 10 minutes because I had stayed by myself the last couple nights and was starved for human interaction. Figured he wouldn't mind because being a free spirit was kind of the default on the trail, and he made no move to get dressed, just sat in a way that granted some coverage. We ended up hiking together for a few days and he later mentioned how he had felt pretty awkward. Oops. Also ended up giving him a multi-hour lift back when we finished, so there no hard feelings. Wife and I were hiking in the Adirondacks and came across an older guy skinny dipping in a lake. Didn't really think much of it and gave him some space, but he came out of the water and engaged us in a conversation without putting on a shred of clothing. He proceeded to put on only his hiking boots and walked off into the forest, but not before his parting shot. Oops, almost forgot my hat, wouldn't want to get a sunburn. Of course, this was the main topic of conversation at our family picnic later that afternoon. My uncle teased my wife by asking her whether she peeked. She insisted not, but she later let it slip that she didn't realize pubes could go gray. The teasing continues to this day, 10 years later. Certain beaches in San Francisco are more or less nude beaches, official or not is another story, and they're super casual about it. I was walking on said beach with a friend so he could check out the view of the Golden Gate Bridge, and an older naked dude started chatting with us and even kindly offered to take our photo, and didn't show an ounce of self-consciousness. Have to admire that. But then again, dude had one of the biggest dicks I've ever seen in my life, and I later commented to my friend that if I was a dude with a vagina like that, I'd want to walk around and show the world too. How you doing, Joey? You guys hiked together? Hiked? Well, mommy and a daddy had a special hike and now you have a new brother. I was hanging some photo on the wall for my now ex-girlfriend. I heard her sister leave the bathroom after taking a shower but didn't think much of it. Hearing her approach, I turned to look out of the bedroom door and caught her totally naked walking from the bathroom to her room. She didn't realize I had come to the house, so she screamed and called me a gorilla, then frantically ran to her bedroom to cover up. Whoops. Well, I have to know now. Are you a gorilla? Monkey. Go back. I want to be monkey. Embrace monkey. Reject humanity. Embrace monkey. Did it go like the educational videos titled My Girlfriend's Sister? Merida, Mexico. Check in at front desk of hotel and give us key to the room. Walk in on one of the maids working her side gig entertaining a client. Got a free upgrade to best room in the place. Edit. Thanks all for your comments, updates and awards. The hotel was Hotel Caribe, located on corner of C58/C59, 1 block east of the cathedral. Other than the free show, I wouldn't recommend it. However, I highly recommend Hotel La Maison de Fray Diego, 2 blocks north of Cathedral on C61. For those of you who go to Yucatan but have only been to the northeast side, Cancun, Playa, Tulum, give the northwest side a visit. skip the resorts and stay in the cathedral/old town area of Merida. Rent a car and take a day trip to Progreso on the ocean. From Progreso, drive east along the coast on Highway 27 to Jlum de Bravo municipality. Did it come with a maid? I checked in at Disney and the room was occupied by a fully clothed couple and Disney gave me a $100 credit. Thinking back on it, I should have said I caught the couple in the act and my kid's scarred now and maybe I could have gotten some VIP level stuff. But deep down, you're not a Karen. Hey, as long as you're not unpleasant to the rank and file workers. The Disney Corporation can eat crap. On holiday with family friends at age 7 and my brother and I joined them at their hotel room to watch Free Willy with kids our age. As I was sitting there, mother walks out of the shower with a towel around her head and completely naked. The movie ended, went back to our room and pretended nothing happened because my parents would freak and probably not going to let us go over anymore, but the kids had Power Rangers on tape. I wasn't going to risk Power Rangers. Thankfully my little brother didn't see, kid was a snitch. The kids saw their mother naked and acted as if nothing happened. Damn priorities. That was the day she freed Willy. Willy stood up for himself after seeing the mother. I was at my girlfriend's house, it was at night, and we were sleeping on the first floor, while her parents were sleeping downstairs, near the kitchen. Thing is, I got a little thirsty, so I decide to go in the kitchen for water. While I'm entering the kitchen, it turns out that her mother, who was naked, had the same idea. We entered the kitchen in the same time, in front of each other, the two entries to the kitchen face each other, so we looked at each other and got the F back to our rooms. It was not funny on the moment, but speaking of it with everyone the morning after we had quite a laugh. Second story, when I was in high school, I was going to the gym, everybody knew each other, and the showers were not closed, only between sexes, guys showered with the other guys, etc. So once my sport is over, I decide to go take a shower, so I get naked, take my stuff and go to the shower room. Once entering, I don't really look around and I hear someone saying my name. It was one of my teacher from high school. It was pretty weird at first, but we talked like we had our clothes on, thinking of it was all so funny. Well, aren't you just the nude story fountain? Both are excellent. At this point I'm scared to go anywhere in the nude because I might run into op. This made me laugh really hard, dude. It's like that if you go to the onsens in Japan with friends or something. When everyone is naked, it's almost like no one is. Why would you leave your bedroom naked if there's someone in the house you don't want seeing you naked? My friends and I were like 7 and playing tag, so I ended up chasing him into his mom's room and ended up seeing some nips that day. Nice. A friend of mine texted me to come hang out and told me just to walk in when I got there. So I get there about 20 minutes later, and walked in on him jacking off. He said he was bored and forgot he texted me. Exactly a week later, he showed up at my house unannounced and walked in on me jerking off. Perfectly balanced, as all things should be. The next week they jacked each other off. Just sounds like a couple of dudes dancing around the idea of charging their joke crystals together. Are you sure you didn't invite him over and then got bored and forgot before you started wanking? Reciprocity. Edit, OFC. This is my first comment to gain popularity on Reddit. That's what good friends do. Knowing that you both walked in on each other popping off makes me feel better for some reason. I was 6. Walked in on my friend's dad pooping naked. He gasped like a woman and threw his basketball magazine in the air. I giggled and ran away. He threw his magazine like a effing flare countermeasure, laughing my butt off. Look at the magazine. Uzi 1-to-1 engaging countermeasures. Whoop whoop. Code chaff. Flare. /code. Was cleaning at work and knocked on the women's changing room to make sure I was allowed to enter. All was fine, so I walk in on a topless colleague and it took about a second and a half to realize what's just happened. I apologize and leave. She says it's okay, but it's not, so I leave, and then when she eventually comes out she offers me a pastry. Still flustered, I declined. I really shouldn't have declined. Edit. Thanks for the awards. I don't know what they mean, but that's very kind. Why did she have a pastry in the changing room? Why was she changing in the pastry room? There is no sex in the pastry room. Some staff eat in the changing room. More space in there. A lot of them are mainland Europeans, so I assume they just carry pastries around with them. Next question. Why was she eating pastries topless on her lunch break? She wasn't eating the one she offered me. She was changing ready to go home, and when she came out of the changing room she had a pastry in her hand to give me. She got it from her bag. Probably. I've been caught naked. When I get too drunk I tend to abandon the party and sneak off to sleep. It was my 30th birthday party, and I had this particularly peer pressure friend who was there. It was around 1 a.m., I was absolutely blitzed, and I thought that if I stayed up any longer things would end poorly for me, so I snuck off to bed. I often sleep naked, and proceeded to do so that evening. While lying in bed, still awake at this point, I hear my friend scream from downstairs, "Where did that mother effer go?" And I know it's only a matter of time before he starts searching the house for me. In my drunk brain, I assumed that if he came upstairs, opened my bedroom door, and saw my bed empty, then that would be the end of the search of the room, so I scrambled into my closet and sat Indian style in my dirty laundry hamper, dirty laundry and all. He comes upstairs with the entire rest of the party in tow, only about 15 to 20 people, looks in my room, sees the bed empty, and immediately heads towards the closet. It had slats so I could track his progress. Needless to say, they found me sitting there. Edit. Expanded upon and clarified a couple points. Also, it pleases me that you all are enjoying my story so much. Smiley face. This is hilarious. I think it's entirely reasonable for someone to wear their birthday suit to their own birthday party. Power move: sleeping naked with a house full of drunk fools. Thank you for watching. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube. And share them with your friends. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. We welcome your comments below. Another of our videos will begin shortly.